Yo, what is going on, Cover One Crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is doing good, man. Week number 14, start sit lineup advice. This is why we're here, man. This is why we play the whole season. This is do or die week for a lot of y'all. I get it, and we got to get the players in the right slots. Got to get all those points to get into those fantasy playoffs. Trophy season starts now, and I definitely got you covered. Before we get started, go check out our friends at OptimusFantasy.com. Go use promo code COVER1 when you sign up. You get discounted rates, baby. Go and do that. And also, don't forget to sign up for Cover One Pass Club Access membership. Telling y'all, man, even if you're not a Bills fan, you just want to learn the game on film study, these guys will school you up in a very big way. Go sign up right now, cover1.net. There is Discord channels for the entire community as well. Go talk to anybody in the comments that's a member, and you will see. And, of course, if your fantasy season is over, do not fret. I got you covered, man. Dynasty content, rookie scouting reports for your favorite team, not only your fantasy team. I got you covered. Draft guide, etc. We do not stop, baby. It is 24/7, so I don't want to see nobody jumping ship. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get this thing to 10,000, man. That is the goal. 10,000 subs in the community. I appreciate every single one of y'all right now. Thank you so much for the subs. But let's get to it. Bye week troubles. Last bye week of the season. Panthers, Patriots, Giants, and the 49ers. So we do got guys like CMC, Drake, May, and company all on the bye week. So it is going to hurt and sting just a little bit because CMC especially has been carrying a lot of our clubs this season overall. But you guys know the drill, man. Rapid fire. Every team, every player. Let's roll. Arizona Cardinals taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Jacoby Brissett company this season is over. They just said Kyler Murray is done for the year. No point to bring him back at this point. You can't argue the coaching staff at this point. Rams coming off a loss to those Carolina Panthers, going to be looking for blood, and I really fear for Jacoby Brissett. Even though we can still play him as a streaming option, I got him on a mid-level risk because they're going to be coming after him with the bum rush. No Demercado, no Marvin Harrison Jr., no Greg Dortch. It is going to be light skeleton crew for this Arizona Cardinals team. So Michael Wilson definitely target upside, but you know that these Rams are going to put a lot of coverage to his side and make everybody else beat him. Jacoby Brissett, just because he tosses the football, could get you some garbage time productivity. Don't dislike it, man. Mid-level risk. Bam Knight, volume 4, mid-level. Don't like the start this week. Even though his floor has been relatively safe the last 3, I think there's better options this week that we can, take advantage of over Bam Knight at this point. Likewise with Michael Carter, low floor on the mid-level. Don't really like it unless it is garbage time productivity, but I don't feel like biting my fingernails off to get that points at the end of the game. Where Michael Wilson, target upside in the green. We know every time Marvin Harrison has been out, he's been booming. He likely will get a boom this week as well, even though the Rams will dedicate a lot to his side. Xavier Weaver, high-level risk, not touching it now, but Elijah Higgins is a big-time sleeper for me. Mid-level risk this week. Someone else is going to have to pick up the steam. Even though they do play Trey McBride, I would not be shocked to see a lot more double tight end sets this week where Higgins could be utilized with the lack of weapons on this offense and a lot of coverage going to Michael Wilson. Where Trey McBride, we play him every single week because 11 boom games. This guy's no joke. Atlanta Falcons taking on Seattle Seahawks. Kirk Cousins, high-level risk. I am not touching this stuff with a 10-foot pole. Even though the Seattle Seahawks offense is not playing necessarily up to par at this point, the defense is still legit. Kirk Cousins likes to throw picks. You've had a good career, Kirko. It's time to call a career almost at this point. I know you're trying to cash those checks and those dollar bills, but we're not touching it this week, man. Bijan, obviously playing him this week as well. Always low-level risk. Fire him up even versus Seahawks. Very stingy defense. He should find his way back into that end zone as well. Likewise with Tyler Algier, mid-level risk. Told y'all last week, man, this guy needed to be owned off the waiver wire. Under 50%. This guy just continues to get a lot of volume in this offense. It is a 1-2 punch with Bijan. Even if Bijan's getting 200 yards, you're still getting points from a Tyler Algier. The run game definitely is the bread and butter. Where Kadero Hodge, not touching it. Darnell Mooney, full Mooney, mid-level risk for me. There are better options. I'm not going to trust it this week either. Where David Sills, TD floor on the red, where Kyle Pitts mid-level risk. This entire offense gets a downgrade for me. Seahawks defense is legit. That front line is legit. They will come after a Kirk Cousins a lot this week. Still no Drake London. He's still dealing with that knee injury, and why rush him back with your season in the hoop right now, man? 4-8 for these Falcons. We do not like many of these players outside of Bijan and a Tyler Algier. Baltimore Ravens taking on Pittsburgh Steelers. Huge divisional showdown. 6-6 for both clubs. Ravens, clinging on to hope for their playoff lives, and Lamar Jackson is not necessarily doing them many favors, not playing good ball as of late. I had him on a bounce back last week, and he just completely disappointed. He is playing injured. There is no question. He's not as explosive, he's not taking off, and he's just not seeing the field right now. He is more hurt than they are letting on, in my opinion. Mid-level risk for me. We got to fire up Lamar everywhere we got him, unless you got a better streaming option at quarterback, but I highly doubt it. It is still Lamar. It is a huge divisional show, and I do expect the best out of him, but I do downgrade him this week to a mid-level risk. Where Derrick Henry, low risk, fire him up everywhere we got him. 8 boom games. He's been rushing pretty well the last several, so we can trust him even versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, where the Bills, they had a record-breaking rushing performance with James Cook and Josh Allen and Ray Davis versus these Steelers on the defensive side, so I think they will take a playbook out of that and run the hell out of a Derrick King Henry this week. Likewise with Keaton Mitchell, he should have some upside, but high-level risk for me not touching it. Zay Flowers gets downgraded to a mid-level. There should be opportunities for him to at least catch some passes, but I'm not, expecting a heaping of it. Flex appeal, low-end wide receiver 3 numbers. Where Rashad Bateman, low floor in the mid-level, not touching it this week. And Diop, man, outside of the first, 3 weeks of the season, he's been an afterthought for all of us. Mark Andrews, TD upside in the green for me this week after inking his new deal. Signed himself a very nice, healthy extension. I thought, you know what it was? I was so confused. I could have sworn that Isaiah Likely signed his contract this offseason from the Ravens. I must have been smoking some of the Chiba, because I honestly don't remember. I remember him signing it, and then I'm like, when they signed Mark Andrews, I was like, what the hell, man? What are they going to do with Isaiah Likely? And I look back at the contract, and he's still on his rookie deal. I was so confused. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I looked it up wrong. But at this point, I digress, man. Mark Andrews, we can play him this week on the TD upside with new dollar bills, and Isaiah Likely low floor on the mid-level. It looked like they were utilizing him last week as well. Maybe he does get some sprinkles, but we cannot touch it this week. Buffalo Bills Mafia, baby, taking on those Cincinnati Bengals. My Bills desperately require this win to stay at pace with those New England Patriots. Last 4 weeks are going to be heavy to see if they can actually still win this division. If the Patriots do stumble, the Bills still play the Pats. There is still possibilities the Bills can be the divisional winner. Josh Allen, baby, could be a snow game. Weather is looking like there could be a lot of snow for this contest, so that would downgrade a lot in this pass game overall for both the Bengals and the Bills. But we know Josh Allen can play in any weather, man. The Ox is going to run free, baby. Low-level risk. We're obviously playing a Josh Allen. James Cook, baby, coming off a huge contest versus those Steelers. 209 points for my dude, James. He's just killing it, man. We're obviously playing James everywhere we got him. This Bills offense still is predicated upon the ground game to set up everything else. Say hey, Ray Davis finally had himself some decent, touches last week. Potentially, if it is a snow game, he does get some sprinkles as well. I'm not trusting it. High-level risk. 16-team leagues, yeah, we can play him that deep in leagues. Keon Coleman, low upside, mid-level, caught himself a TD last week. We still can't trust it this week overall. We're Khalil Shakir. If there is some PBR upside, it will go to Khalil Shakir, possibly anywhere from 7 to about 12 points is your ceiling for Khalil, unless he finds his way into that end zone, which could happen. Brandon Cooks, man, target floor on the high-level risk. We can't trust it. We can't play it. But, I mean, he got one pass last week, and maybe they do give him some more opportunities to at least stretch the field that much more. I do have a feeling, though, this will help out the run game, having Brandon Cooks to be that field stretcher on the field. Still, even in his old age of, 32, he's still able to cook down the field. Where Dalton Kincaid, he's potentially back on the questionable this week. No indication that he will not suit up, where Josh Palmer is out of this contest. So a lot of Khalil Shakir, a lot of Dalton Kincaid, and a lot of running upside. Can we play Dalton Kincaid if he suits up? I don't dislike it. I would play a Kincaid this week. Chicago Bears taking on the Green Bay Packers. Another huge divisional showdown. Absolutely love it, man. Bears still in first place in this division, taking on these Packers' stingy defense. And okay, we can talk about the Bears, okay? Are they a pretender? I'm still putting my hand up to say just a little bit, man. Even though they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, who are struggling, everyone's going to sit there and say, well, they beat the Super Bowl champs. I get it, but it's just, a lot of running upside, okay? If they continue to run, we've seen this formula. I'm just talking about my Buffalo Bills. Even though it is Josh Allen, he can take over a game anytime. Caleb Williams has not shown that he can take over a contest at this point by himself through the pass game, still under 60% as a passer. What did I say at the beginning of the season to all y'all Bears fans? Patience is key. Could they still miss the playoffs? Absolutely they could. They have a very difficult schedule down the line, but we'll see. Caleb is doing more than enough to win. He's not turning the ball over, and he's not making those stupid mistakes that he was in his rookie season. This is the positives I was talking about, especially at this point of the season for Caleb. Mid-level risk, 7 boom games, 227 points. He's given us the fantasy productivity we require. We can play him this week as well. I would not be shocked if we start to see some turnovers versus defenses. They will come after him a lot. Micah Parsons and company will be coming after Caleb, so the ceiling is a little bit more capped than it has been, but I still will play a Caleb Williams. DeAndre Swift running like a bat out of hell. 7 boom games, 145 points. We can play him even versus the stingy front line of these Packers. Likewise with Kyle Monunga, he could still have a decent I think a decent floor, at least if they get inside the red zone. He's going to at least get those TD upsides that we require. So TD upside, mid-level risk. There could be a very smaller, basement bottom floor than we've seen, but I still don't dislike it if you drop him in the flex option. No Rome Odunze in this contest. He's dealing with a foot injury. He is out of this contest this week, and he is week to week at this point from what I'm seeing. So everybody, DJ Moore gets an uptick. PPR upside, mid-level risk. He would be my first option if we are talking about wide receivers for these Bears, even though, like I said, the Packers D is good and they will challenge Caleb Williams. And even in the best of times versus a porous defense, we've seen Caleb miss his wide receiver. So I still like the play of DJ Moore this week. If there was any opportunity, we've kept him on our team this entire season. If there's any opportunity like it was, 2 weeks prior, this is another one of those situations where DJ Moore could get a lot of target upside. Luther Burden, my dude Luther, he's back on my board now without Rome Odunze, mid-level risk. He should see some targets in this contest, anywhere from the 7 to about 14 points. If he does find his way into the end zone, could be coming for a Luther Burden. Cole Kmet, high-level risk, not touching it this week, where I do think it is going to be a Colston Loveland. Even though Kmet had a good week last week, I think Colston Loveland has a better one. Good upside in the green, where they got to get those chain moving. He will be the chain mover, I should say, and potentially get into that end zone. I don't dislike the play of Colston Loveland. Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Buffalo Bills. Like I said, snow game. Joey B, he looked good in his first contest. Little rust early on, and then he seemingly started to figure it out again. It is Joe Burrow, man. We know he's one of the better quarterbacks in this league, and he will sling the football. Still with Jamar Chase, getting T. Higgins back from that concussion. Joey B is a low-level risk for me. Even in the snow, we know that Joe Burrow can still sling that football. Chase Brown, even though the Buffalo Bills have the best pass defense, statistically speaking by the numbers, their run defense is the worst in the NFL. Fire up Chase everywhere you got him, whether it be PPR upside, whether it be running free through the, and it's a battered O-line, man. No Bosa, no Epinesa. They're going to have some issues even coming after Joey B this week. So that's why I got Joey B even at a low risk. Likewise with Chase Brown, fire him up everywhere we got him. Jamar Chase, fire him up low-level risk, even though he should see a lot of Benford. It's going to be an interesting contest, but it is Jamar. We know we're obviously playing him. Where Andre Josevich gets downgraded to a low upside on the high-level risk. Not playing it now with T. Higgins back from the concussion, mid-level risk. I do like the potential TD upside for a T this week as well. And Mike Gesicki, PPR floor on the mid-level. I think we have better options this week at the tight end spot. Cleveland Brownies taking on those Tennessee Titans in what could be another snow game as well. Shedeur Sanders, we'll see what he plays in what he looks like playing in the snow. Man, I'm stumbling all over myself. Low upside, don't like it, even though Tennessee Titans are one of the worst teams I think I've ever seen play football in a season. They're just bad, man, overall. Even the defense just can't swing it anymore because they're tired of bailing out the offense that does nothing. But Shedeur Sanders, obviously, we're not touching it this week. But Q Judkins, absolutely love the play of Q this week, man. 6 boom games, 137 on the point totals. Low-level risk, we're firing up a Judkins everywhere we got him. Where Dylan Sampson was dealing with a calf injury, he's downgraded to high-level risk for me. It was nice to see him get some touches. And eventually, one day, we will see this tandem be between Judkins and Sampson. That will be one of the better ones in this league. I just don't like it this week. Where Jerry Jeudy, mid-level risk. I actually like the play of Jeudy this week in my flex spot. There is potential opportunity that Shedeur Sanders finds him on the regular. But again, the snow game, just definitely watch out for that weather. If it is bad, then make my point about Jeudy a moot point, and we do not play him. Cedric Tillman has been an afterthought since coming back from his injury. High-level risk. Where Harold Fannin Jr., only Fannins, baby. Touchdown upside for me in the green. Absolutely, we fire up a Fannin everywhere we got him. We're David Njoku, low floor, mid-level risk. And like I said, man, at the beginning of the season, man, it's all time stamped. I said it was going to be Fannin over Njoku in this offense this season, and it has come to fruition. So still going with only Fannins over a David Njoku. Denver Broncos taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Bo Nix, Bo knows, baby. Low-level risk for me. Fire up Bo everywhere he got him. You kind of feel like even though it was such a crazy contest, the Broncos played, Sunday night? It was Sunday Night Football versus those Washington Commanders Commies, and it went to overtime. Very exciting show. This is one of these contests you want to see Sean Payton, Coach Payton, iron out a lot of the deficiencies in this offense. You know, you want to see a perfect game. You want to see something out of a team that's 10-2 and number 1 in the entire AFC, baby. Bo Nix, low-level risk. This is tune-up time. This is what I'm going to be watching in this one. See if they can actually tune up this offense to high-end levels, and that'll make them very scary. If they can blow out these Raiders, I think it will show a lot. So Bo knows. I'm definitely firing him up. RJ Harvey, told y'all he was a easy play last week. He will be again this week. Find his way into the end zone once again is going to be an afterthought, man. Low-level risk. We're playing RJ everywhere we got him. Likewise, with Cortland Sutton, low-level risk. Fire him up. 6 boom games. He's had his, games where he's kind of like this afterthought, catches a few afterthought. It's just weird how he's not the primary focus in this offense, and I think that would help a Bo a lot as well. But I know Sean Payton likes to spread the football around. We can play a Cortland Sutton this week, where Marvin Mims, high-level risk, not touching it, where Troy Franklin is my TD upside of the week. I absolutely love the potential of him getting at least 1 touchdown this week. Should have a decent contest. I want to see a lot of slanting goes to Franklin, as he should be able to break free. And Evan Ingram made me look foolish last week. He goes and he catches some late garbage time points, man. You kidding me? PBR floor mid-level risk. I think he comes back down to the cellar, and we do not play him. Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. Jordan Love, feeling love for love. Okay, I was cussing the man down a week prior, Thanksgiving, and he goes off on Thanksgiving. This is the Jordan Love I was talking about. I said, where the hell have you been? And he made me look foolish because I cussed him out. Okay, it happens, and this is what it does. But mid-level risk for me versus Chicago Bears. Defense is getting healthier. A lot of players are coming back, but I still like the play of a Jordan Love this week versus the Chicago Bears. It is a huge divisional showdown, like I already said, and they're going to have all hands on deck. We can play Jordan Love this week, even though it is mid-level for me. I'm just saying that for capping the top-end ceiling points. It's not going to be 31 like it was last week, but we could see a nice 22-25 if he continues throwing that football. Josh Jacobs off the injury report, which is good news. Low-level risk, fire him up. He should be good. Volume floor for Emmanuel Wilson, 14 and 16 team leagues. Don't dislike it, but I do think that they do get Jacobs rolling this week as well. Majority of the volume should be his over Emmanuel Wilson, where Matthew Golden not touching it. Still dealing with a shoulder issue, should be in this contest. Jaden Reed, he's still dealing with his issues. He's questionable. We'll see if he does touch the field. So at this point, it is Romeo Doubs, Romeo. Mid-level risk, PBR floor, I don't dislike it. Again, low-end wide receiver, 3 flex appeal is here. Unless he finds his way into that end zone, he's getting you the 6 to 10. Like, that's kind of where you're hovering with Romeo, so it is tough to trust. Where Christian Watson, I do like the play of Watson this week as well. Mid-level risk, should be able to at least get down the field, carve up this Bears defense enough to get us those good quality points. And Luke Musgrave, high-level risk, not touching it. Again, I am flabbergasted at the point of them not, putting Musgrave as the same as Tucker Kraft, but I get it. He does not block as well as Tucker Kraft, so it does limit how much snaps he does get on the field. Houston Texans taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. CJ Stroud, Sunday Night Football. Okay, these Houston Texans winning football games. That defense is cruising, man. What a defense this is. DeMeco Ryans, my hat's off to you, sir. This defense is probably one of the best I've seen in a big-time, long time. They're playing lights out, man. And with the Kansas City Chiefs on life support for their playoff live, CJ Stroud mid-level risk, I do believe the Chiefs are going to bring everything. The whole thunder and lightning is coming after CJ Stroud. Just can't trust it this week for CJ. He played okay last week, not great overall, and I think there are better options that we can stream if you are looking at it. Mid-level risk for me, Nicholas Chubb, Nick Chubb, and Woody Marks. We got a Woody Chubb in the house, and it is TD Floor. High-level risk for Chubb. We're not touching it. We're Woody Marks. You failed me, man. I gave you a lot of props last week suggesting it should have been a good game. He almost did break one and then got tackled, so whatever. Mid-level risk for me this week. Back down here. Can you play him? Sure. I mean, don't expect the world versus Kansas City Chiefs front seven that can still come after quarterbacks and stop the run. Nico Collins, low-level risk, fire him up. He's always good for a good ceiling for us as well. He should be able to give us more than enough to get us into the fantasy football playoffs if you are in that direction. Christian Kirk not touching it like we haven't all season, where Jaden Higgins is starting to pick up a lot of steam, and I do like his game a lot. One of my favorites coming out of this draft. He's a tall tree, man, and his route tree is only improving on the weekly. Mid-level risk for me. If you got better options, take it. If you don't, there should be at least a decent amount of targets to come to his direction because a lot of focus will go to a Nico Collins, where Dalton Schultz, PPR floor is still good. Based on tight ends and what they provide us, the floor is good enough. Is the ceiling going to be hit? I don't think so. Not this week, as I had him as a bust player. But, I mean, the floor should still be anywhere 6 to 7 points. Indianapolis Colts taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Daniel Jones, Daniel Pennies, and we have upgraded him to Danny Nichols. Okay, fractured leg and all, and this man is toughing it out. They're coming off a loss last week. No Sauce Gardner this week as well. So this will, be a very interesting show. The Jaguars are, this Jekyll and Hyde squad. The Colts are coming back down to earth just a little bit. Both teams 8-4. This is for the divisional lead. God, you got to love December football. Man, so much on the line with a lot of these teams. Good upside in the green for Daniel Jones. They 3D printed, a custom, a shin guard to protect his fibula. So that's, good stuff. Interesting. He's not going to be mobile, but at least he was able to stand in that pocket and at least throw the football. I still like the play of a Daniel Jones this week, even though the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is very much improving. JT, we need a huge game from JT this week. 280 points, 10 boom games for Jonathan Taylor. He has been killing it all season long. Kind of fell back down to earth as well since they went overseas, but I do think this game we see a big-time heaping of Jonathan Taylor. They need to get that ground going in a big way. What do we do with these wide receivers? Michael Pittman, PPR upside, mid-level risk. I do think there's a bounce back this week for him as well. We're Josh Downs. We're always down for Downs, but not this week. I think last week was, where they're going to eat over the middle. This week, I think they go back to the bread and butter and go back to Michael Pittman. He's the better start over a Josh Downs. And Alec Pierce, decent flex every single week now, where he was only getting the 9 routes before. He's getting a lot more, like I said, mid-range outs, crossers. He's getting more integrated in this offense. Target floor on the mid-level, we can play in Alec Pierce. And Tyler Warren, like I said last week, flu be damned. He was scoring TDs. And that's exactly what he did. Low-level risk. We play him everywhere. We got him. Those Jacksonville Jaguars taking on those Indianapolis Colts. Trevor Lawrence, sunshine. Okay, what is he doing this week? They're looking good, and it's the elixir that stirs the drink, and we know that Trevor Lawrence worked extremely well with somebody like Christian Kirk. I mean, go back and look at his stats when Christian Kirk was on the field. He played exceptionally well because that's like his safety blanket. He's so comfortable throwing those mid-range balls, but he just can't get it to the outside with high levels of consistency. Very odd, because in Clemson, we saw him do it all the time. In the NFL, it's just like, where is the consistency in your deep ball on the outside? But when it is the mid-range crossers, two guys like Jacoby Meyers, it is working, and this offense does look light years better than it has since Jacoby's come. Low-level risk, fire up sunshine everywhere we got him. He should have a very good day. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, bounce back week for me. Set on boomer bust, where I do call Travis Etienne a boom player this week as well. Almost felt like they were saving him for this contest versus these Colts because all hands are on deck, man. The Jags want to win this division. They want to, compete for, top spot in the AFC. They're only 2 games out as well. So I think Etienne gets a lot of traction in this contest. Set up that play action pass and get the wide receivers in motion, where Bashal Tutin, whenever he has a decent contest or scores a touchdown, it just falls off a cliff the next week. You guys can do it if you want. I'm not trusting Bayshell this week at all. We're Jacoby Meyers, good upside in the green. Like I said, he is turning into a favorite target because of the routes he runs, because of where he does place himself inside those zones. We can play him in the green on the good upside. Where Parker Washington, he goes back down to injury risk on the high level. He's dealing with a hip. I exited last week as well. I don't like the play. Where Brian Thomas Jr., oh, man, mid-level risk. This one hurts. Not even 100 points, man. I get it. He was dealing with an injury, but he wasn't giving us anything when he was on the field early on this season. This is the week. We drafted him for a reason. I'm a big proponent. If you drafted him, we got to play him because they have that star appeal. I'm playing a Brian Thomas this week as well. If you got him and unless you got better options, like light year better options, I think Brian Thomas does find his way to have a decent contest. Where Brenton Stranger Things, mid-level risk for me, 3 boom games since coming back from his injury, or 2 boom games since coming back from his injury, 3 on the season. He is a very safe tight end stream this week as well. Kansas City Chiefs taking on those Houston Texans. Like I said on Sunday Night Football, Patrick Mahomes. Okay, we saw what this Houston Texans defense did to Josh Allen. Let's see what they can do to Patrick Mahomes. I will be watching with peeled eyes. Very intriguing mid-level risk for Patrick Mahomes. You got him, you play him, obviously, but I'm going to taper it off just a little bit for Patrick this week. It is do or die for these Kansas City Chiefs, so everything they're going to throw in the kitchen sink at these Texans defense. We will see what Andy Reid does scheme up. I do foresee a lot of, potential gadget plays to an Xavier Worthy. Get him on the outside, spread him out just a little bit more because this run game just has not been good all season long. Mid-level risk, we can still play a Patrick Mahomes. Where Kareem Hunt mid-level risk, TD upside is here as well, but versus stingy defense, I'm not necessarily selling the farm to play a Kareem Hunt. Isaiah Pacheco not even looking in that direction, but Rashee Rice, he's been so good since coming back. 5 boom games, 109 points. We're firing up on a low-level risk. Rashee Rice everywhere we got him. Hollywood not touching it this week. Likewise with Juju Smith-Schuster, high-level risk for me. Where Xavier Worthy, like I said, potential lot of gadget plays. He's got to be the X factor. He has not been hasn't been integrated as much as I would have anticipated at this point of his career, man. Everyone keeps cussing Keon Coleman. Look what Worthy's not doing either. So come on, man. 72 points. They're just not utilizing him. He's a playmaker. He's got speed. He's got wheels. You got to get the ball in this guy's hands where he can make plays in the yak ability. Mid-level risk. He's given us 9-point floors at this point, so he's a decent play this week. Where Travis Kelce is turning back the clock, at least for this part of the season. He's been very trustworthy at the tight end spot. 8 boom games. We can play him this week versus a very tough defense. Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. Injuries, and injuries continue to foil these bolts. Justin Herbert broke his hand mid-game last week, had surgery. He was a limited participant on Friday's practice, so we'll see what he does on Saturday since this game is on Monday Night Football. They do got another shot to give him at least a limited full practice on Saturday, but I got injury risk mid-level, man. We know he's going to play. The good news is that, Jalen Carter for these Eagles is going to be out of this contest. He had some shoulder cleanup surgery, so he's out for a couple weeks as well to get ready for a playoff run. Can we trust Herbert with a broken hand? I think we can. Even though this defense and the Eagles still very sharp and good, they have not been that Super Bowl team that we've seen in the past at this point. So Herbert, hurt or not, if you got the only way you could not play Herbert is if you got a better option at quarterback. And if you do, I'd like to see who it is. So I do like the play of him this week. Where Kamani Vidal, volume upside in the green, still like it a lot this week versus the Eagles, where we saw them gashed by DeAndre Swift and Monangai last week. We should see a big heaping of ground game to support Justin Herbert to protect that hand this week. Where it is Omarion Hampton, my dude. He is back. He had a full practice on Friday, but I'm going to cap him at a volume floor this week. He should have some rust. We will see how good he is on the ground. If first 2 quarters will tell the tale of how good he's going to run in this contest, and then we'll see if a lot more of Kamani Vidal does get the volume. So for me, I'm going to play it cautiously, optimistically safe this week and say I'm going to bench Omarion. I know you drafted him. It is week 14. I'll put it to you this way. If you are do or die on your fantasy team for playoffs and you need Omarion, play him. Because you drafted him and maybe he scores a touchdown and makes me look foolish. But if you have better options than Omarion this week, I'm going to play it safe. I just want to see what he looks like. 8 weeks is a long time without football, so we'll play Kamani over a Hampton this week, in my opinion. Ladd McConkey, he's a good lad. PPR floor, if Herbert plays, Ladd should be the safety blanket this week. Lots of PPR work going to his direction. We're Q Johnston. Mid-level risk. I said he was going to score last week. He did and made me look good. This week, I think it does get pulled back just a little bit, especially when they want a little bit more of the ins and the outs to keep, the chains moving. Ladd McConkey should be your guy, where Keenan Allen should see a little bit more target share. I don't know. We'll see how it does go. He's been very tough to trust, man. If you got better options than Keenan, I would probably take it this week. Likewise with Gadsden, low upside, mid-level. Since popping off in those contests, he has been very underwhelming. We can do better than him this week as well. Los Angeles Rams taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Bounce back week for a Matthew Stafford. You got to believe it, man. He's got to feel sick to all those turnovers that he provided for those Panthers to beat them last week. They could have had a stranglehold on this division. Now they get at least a sizably nice contest, even though the Cardinals defense has been fighting and they do look very good. I got bounced back in the green for a Matthew Stafford. He should get back to business. Kyron Williams was dealing with an ankle. He is off the injury report. No worries for all y'all. Fire him up everywhere you got him. I know Blake Corum is starting to steal some touches from him. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Keeps Kyron healthy down the stretch as well, so we should have him, but ankle be damned. He's playing low-level risk. We're playing him everywhere we got him. 173 points, 8 boom games. Don't even question Kyron. He will score points in this contest. Where Puka Nacua, Blake Corum on the volume floor in the red, I should say, outside of 14 and 16 team leagues, I won't trust it. Where Puka Nacua, low-level risk, fire him up. He's been kind of up and down these past couple weeks. He should bounce back in a big way. Where Devontae Adams, low-level risk, we're playing Puka, we're playing Adams every single week now. It is good news, good for business on our fantasy teams. Jordan Whittington not touching it. We're Colby Parkinson, mid-level risk. Like I said, ever since Tyler Higbee went down, they started realizing, hey, we have a tight end spot again. Parkinson's a very strong, safe floor for a tight end stream this week once again versus Cardinals. The Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Denver Broncos this week. Geno's already been sacked 6 times as I'm saying this right now. Poor Geno, high-level risk, not touching it. Denver's going to come after this man with the bum rush. You thought the Browns sacked this man a lot? This guy might come out of this game in a body bag. It's going to be very bad. Benito and company are going to come after Geno with everything. High-level risk. Poor Geno. What a season it has been for him. We're Ashton Jeanty, low-floor, mid-level risk. I do not like it. Will not trust it. Again, I'm going to leave it to y'all. You got Ashton Jeanty. You want to play him. You feel that in the gut that you got to play him. There is always garbage time appeal. You got to remember that, okay? And that was one of those contests, like I said, when I called, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I called Ashton Jeanty a potential cautious bust, and he was until the end of the game. Garbage time, he caught a swing pass out and scored a touchdown. That's what killed the bust. So it is what it is. So you're going to have to wait for it. He's talented enough that he could get us points any possible time in the contest, but we know, especially with Patrick Surtain back, it's going to be very tough sledding for this offense to get moving. Jeanty should have a very rough day overall. Even if you play him, I understand why. I just got him low floor, mid-level risk. I don't like it, but I understand it overall. Trey Tucker, low upside, has not been doing much in this past game. Likewise with Tyler Lockett, not touching it. Where Jack Betch, high-level risk, he's getting into the contest now as they're looking to see what they got in a Betch. Where Thornton is not doing anything for ya. One of those guys, I told y'all in the preseason with Thornton, everyone was all, oh, he's so good, he's so good. He's not a bad player. It's just, he's not a great player, and that's what we're seeing down the stretch of the season. So Betch now taking over. We'll see if he does continue to progress. Got some targets last week, and Brock Bowers is probably the only safe option I'm playing this week because garbage time passes should come to his direction. Low-level risk, fire up Brock everywhere we got him. Miami Dolphins taking on the New York Jets. Tua, turn the ball over. It is not good, man. I mean, I thought Tua was going to have a better show last week. What the hell is your problem, dude? Mid-level risk for me versus New York Jets defense. Jets won last week. Tyrod Taylor is making some noise. Okay, these guys are just playing for pride at this point, all of them. So Tua, mid-level risk. If you got better options, better streaming options, I would take them. But there is potential for him to bounce back, have a 20-point show this week. But it is a big risk, always with Tua. Devin off the A-Chain, 12 boom games, baby. This guy's boomed every single game this season, except for one. No, that's got to be wrong. I got to double check that. I might be wrong. This guy's boomed every time he's played so far. Low-level risk for me, 227. Fire up HN everywhere we got him. That might be a typo, man. I'll definitely double check that for next week. But HN's been absolutely stellar. He's so damn good. All he does, he's like a, faster, smaller Marshall Faulk, like I've been saying, man. Catches, passes, scores touchdowns. He's just an absolute killer. Where Ollie Gordon just does not get enough touches. Another one of my dudes. Where Jalen Waddle time. Bounce back week versus New York Jets. I do like the play of Waddle this week as well. Low-end wide receiver 2 numbers should follow the man. 7 boom games, low-level risk. We're playing him. Fire up the Penguin everywhere we got him. Malik Washington not touching a PPR floor. Nick Westbrook, Akine, high-level risk. I don't like it. Where Darren Waller, TD upside in the green, came back from the injured reserve, caught us about, 5-6 points last week. He came unscathed, and that's what I was looking for, hoping that he was going to get the rust shaken off and be what we're looking for, and he is a good streamer this week. I do believe he should get some red zone opportunities and should find his way into that end zone. I do like Darren Waller this week quite a bit. Minnesota Vikings taking on the Washington Commanders. The Commies, J.J. McCarthy, low upside on the red. Coming off the concussion, he just has not looked good, man. He can't be worse than Max Brosmer. Brosmer. It was not good. What was that throw, man, that you did, Brosmer? It's going to be on low light reels for your career. Sorry about your luck, but J.J. McCarthy has not been great either, and the progression has been very slow. It's almost like it has been a regression, you got to say, since coining himself as 9. Like, come on, dude. You got to do something before you give yourself a nickname. But I understand you're a young guy. You're trying to make waves. We're not touching it this week. But this is the problem. It downgrades everybody on this offense. Jordan Mason, volume floor, mid-level risk. Aaron Jones, he comes off the injury report. He's good to go, even though he didn't finish last week as well. Very strange that he's okay. I thought it was going to be an AC joint injury for sure. Low-level risk for Aaron Jones. We play Jones over Mason once again this week. He should at least have something of a bounce back. Where Justin Jefferson, JJ... We're already hearing trade rumors next in the offseason where they're not trading JJ. Stop it, man. He's staying put, man. They're going to figure this thing out. Mid-level risk for Justin Jefferson. He should be able to at least find ways to get through the Commanders' defense that isn't necessarily top end at this point of the season. You got to play him. It's week 14, man. We drafted JJ. We love JJ. He makes a lot of plays. We got to play JJ for better or worse. If the ship is sinking, we're going down with it. I don't care. I would rather have JJ bust in my starting lineup than boom on my bench. No kidding about that. We're playing JJ this week. Where Jordan Addison, my dude, Addy, TD dependency continues. I'm not trusting it this week either. We'll see if McCarthy can, at least improve this week, but I don't like the play of Addison. If you got better options, take him. Jalen Naylor is good for only 2 games a year at this point. Where TJ Hawkinson, PPR floor on the mid-level risk. Brosmer was at least looking in his direction. It should go back to the other side. But this is what I don't understand about this, lack of progression for J.J. McCarthy. You got a tight end. He is your safety blanket. Utilize the man. Get some first downs. Build your confidence. Then go back to Justin Jefferson and Addy. It's not hard. I don't get it, man. I don't know what's going on. But Hawkinson this week, there is potential for streaming, potential for him this week. I'm not selling the moon, but whatever you want to say. Pick your poison. If you want to play him, totally your call. I don't like it this week either. New Orleans Saints taking on Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Potential rain game in Tampa. Tyler Shogg is better than advertised. He's still making mistakes. He has his moments, but then he gets moments of clarity, and he looks good. I'm telling y'all, these mechanics on this kid are good, man. The throwing motion, the steps up, or the step-ups, the side steps, the pocket awareness. He does have it, man, but then there's this internal clock that goes off and says, okay, I got to play some really bad football for a couple quarters and then get back to some decent football. So mid-level risk for me, coming off I think it was 18 points last week, so it's not terrible. Very hard to trust for fantasy football, but I just do like the kid. I think that he does have a lot of skills, and if he does progress in the right direction, he could be a decent starter in the NFL for some time, but we're not playing it, but I got a mid-level risk. Where Devin Neal told y'all last week it was only due in part to the volume upside, which will be again this week with no Alvin Kamara. He's still dealing with that ankle injury, so he's out of this contest. Neal will still get volume, but against Tampa Bay, you're going to get the similar type of stat line, 8 to about 11 points potentially this week, unless he finds his way into the end zone. Then that could shoot him up to about 15. Then we're talking, but volume upside on the mid-level. If you have to play him, I get it. There is at least that volume upside that's going to help, man. Audric Estime not touching it. We're Chris Olave, CO2, my guy. Mid-level risk, dealing with a back issue. He played last week through that. Should do it once again this week. We can play him in our flex once again versus Tampa Bay. It depends on how bad the rain is. I mean, at least Olave should be able to score a touchdown in some garbage time appeal. Where Devon Vele's making a name for himself here with these New Orleans Saints. PBR floor, mid-level risk. Low-end wide receiver 3 to 4 numbers. Unless he gets into that end zone. But what a pass and what a catch from Shog to Vele. It was a very nice thing to see. So, I mean, use at your own risk. I still think there are safer options where Taysom Hill has been the afterthought. And Juwan Johnson, mid-level risk. There is some upside once again. It's been up and down for him, these past several weeks. I still do like the play of Juwan this week, but you do got to temper those top-end expectations. New York Jets taking on those Miami Dolphins. Tyrod Taylor's turning back the clock. He looked good. 20 points last week? He looked good, man. He was force-feeding A.D. Mitchell down, and Breece Hall was running the football. They looked good. Good for the New York Jets, but they look good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They look good enough. And I think for fantasy point productivity, Tyrod, if you're really struggling for a quarterback, I don't dislike the play of Tyrod. He still can run the football, still throws a pretty deep ball, and he's still making plays. Tyrod is a mid-level risk for me this week. Fire up Breece Hall everywhere we got him. Low-level risk, 6 boom games, been running very well. He's playing for his contract on the open market next season. I'll be shocked if he returns to these New York Jets in 2026. So fire up a Breece Hall everywhere we got him. He should have another very sound day. We're Adonai Mitchell, AD, baby, good upside, mid-level risk. First 100-yard game, first touchdown, I believe, last week in his career. I was a believer, and so was a guy like Reggie Wayne. He's probably biting his, he's so angry. Reggie Wayne is pissed that they traded him because he was talking up AD, saying AD is one of these guys that could potentially be a superstar in this league. I don't know if I'd go that far, but at least we're seeing what he could potentially be, a absolutely stellar number 2 wide receiver in the NFL. We can play AD this week once again. We're John Mechie. He took a little bit of a backseat last week. I'm not trusting it this week outside of deeper leagues, 14 and 16 team leagues. We could play him on the PBR floor, mid-level risk. Tyler Johnson not touching it, where Mason Taylor continues to be an afterthought as they look to see what they have at this wide receiver position. Mason Taylor still gets you only about 3 points. I am not trusting it in do or die week. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the LA Chargers. Monday Night Football. What is up with these Eagles, man? They can't run the football. I get it. Injuries to the offensive line are a massive problem. Saquon's not running with as much oomph as he has, but to be expected. He carried the ball, touched the ball over 400 times last season. You knew a regression was going to happen, but 151 points, that's ridiculous. I don't know what's going down. Volume upside for Saquon. Obviously, we're playing Jalen Hurts this week once again, even though whether it is the brotherly shove, tush, push, he's now finally starting to get the ball to A.J. Brown. Grown-ass man, that much more these past several weeks. We play Hurts, we play a Barkley, but it is not a low-level risk for me right now, man. It is volume upside, but we're hoping that he can break one and find his way into the end zone. It's been far too long since we've seen that. But, I mean, again, week 14, we play the guys we drafted, playing Saquon everywhere we got him. A.J. Brown, grown-ass man. Losing my voice here. Low-level risk, fire him up everywhere we got him. They're throwing it to the end zone. They're throwing it deep. They're throwing it all over to A.J. We play A.J. everywhere we got him. We're likewise with Devontae Smith. Smitty. PPR floor on the green. I don't dislike the play once again this week as well. He's very safe floors for us, and I do like it. Jahan Dotson dealing with a toe injury, high-level risk anyway. We're Dallas Goedert. You've been killing me, man. But here, man, I will say, I did call him a boom player last week. He busted, but Jalen Hurts missed him. He was wide open down the seam. That would have been our boom. He would have got us 13-plus points. So I wasn't wrong. It was Jalen Hurts that screwed us over. Okay, whatever. I digress. Mid-level risk. He is one of these guys very hard to trust at this point because the last, 4 weeks, he's been a very terrible point getter for us. If you got better options, look for it. But I won't be shocked if this is the week, once again, where Dallas Goedert finds his way back into that end zone. Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Baltimore Ravens. I don't like anything of the Steelers team right now. We saw what it was last week versus a battered and bruised Buffalo Bills defense. Baltimore should be able to at least, do better this week than they did last week. Aaron Rodgers, low floor, not touching it. Jaylen Warren, volume upside, mid-level. I will play Jaylen Warren this week. Kenneth Gainwell, mid-level risk. Deeper leagues, there is potential here as well. He's catching passes. He's making plays. They got to utilize both running backs in this offense that much more because they are the true playmakers outside of a DK Metcalf who's locked up in double teams every single week. So Jaylen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, Warren over Gainwell. Deeper leagues, PPR upside, mid-level risk for a Kenneth Gainwell is on the docket. Where DK Metcalf, low floor, mid-level. Man, it's up to you. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say bench him because how can you trust it at this point? How can you trust anything that's coming from DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers? I will not do it. It does not look good. They still don't look like they're on the same page. Metcalf is getting angry. He's dealing with injuries, so I don't like it. Calvin Austin, Pat Freiermuth, the Moot, Jonnu Smith, high risk, PPR floor high risk, target floor high risk. All respectively, I don't like it. It's the play call in Arthur Smith. You're killing me. I won't touch it this week, man. There are much better options than a lot of these Steelers this week, and I'm telling y'all, you should be exercising all other options than those. Gentlemen, Seattle Seahawks taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Sam Darnold, I don't know. What is your problem, dude? What has happened to you, Sam? Terrible show once again last week. Is it going to continue versus an Atlanta Falcons defense that can still come after the quarterback? Potentially. And I'm not trusting it this week at all. I think there are way better options than Sam Darnold. Mid-level risk for me until Sam gets out of this funk that he's in. He's throwing interceptions. He's turning the ball over. He's missing wide receivers. Do not like it. Will not trust it here in Week 14. But K9, Kenneth Walker III, and Zach Charbonnet. Volume upside in the green for Kenny. Like the play of Kenny, we can play him this week. Charbonnet, we can also play him this week. TD upside, they are mixing and matching these guys. As soon as they get inside the 10-yard line, it is Charbonnet time as well. So again, they're going to the ground. It's the identity. What do you guys want to be in Seattle? Are you a run team? Are you a pass team? What the hell are you at this point? Seems like when they traded for Rashid Shaheed, they just lost all track of what the hell they could do on the field. Either way, I digress again, man. JSN Jackson, the Jigba bounce back week. First time he had a bust all season long, or two busts he's had this season. But I mean, JSN's been very strong. Obviously, bounce back this week, 218 points. They should have a conscious effort to force feed him the football. Where Cooper Kupp, PPR floor, high level risk, not touching it. Rashid Shaheed, boom and bust, still continues, man. Just not enough targets getting to this man at this point. He's got to be, extremely frustrated. Everyone, he's used to the playbook. He's going to do very well. I told y'all, what the hell did you trade for him? Very peculiar trade, and they don't utilize the man properly. It just is what it is. Not touching Rashid, not touching Cooper Kupp, but AJ Barner, mid-level risk. There is good streaming upside for AJ this week as well. I do not dislike the potential upside. Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on those New Orleans Saints. Like I said, potential rain game. We're Bake Show, baby. He was not on the injury report, which is good news, good upside for him as well. The Bucs are starting to get healthier every single week. Bucky Irving came back last week. That's my bad, okay? I played it too safe. I should have said, you had Bucky, play him. I hope a lot of y'all did as well. I mean, I played him in a couple leagues where I had no choice. But at least we saw that he came back, he looked fresh, and he was running the ball very well. In that fourth quarter, he looked like old school Bucky coming back to the goods. Low-level risk for Bucky, fire him up. Where Rachaad White gets downgraded, PPR floor, not trusting Rachaad with Bucky back. It is Baker. Yes, we can play Baker. Yes, we can play Bucky. Emeka Egbuka. Like I said in Boom and Bust, it's been this yo-yo effect. He hasn't boomed since week number 10, I believe. I think it was. So it's time to get Emeka back in the goods here as well. They got Chris Godwin back. He should pull coverage away from his side also. Low-level risk for Emeka. I do trust it. I'm going to do it. For better or worse, I think Emeka finds his way back into that end zone versus the Saints, where Chris Godwin, he's continuously getting some more sprinkles of targets in his direction. Eventually, we'll be able to play him this week. I'm still going to be very cautious about it. There is only thing saving his day is that TD, because he's just not making enough waves for me to feel warm and fuzzy. Where Tez Johnson, mid-level risk, TD upside is definitely here still as well. Where Mike Evans is progressing to come back from injured reserve return. They're saying potentially next week or the week after, Big Mike could return to the field. Where K-Dot and high-level risk, not trusting it this week. I think it's going to be a lot of Irving, Emeka, and Godwin if we play anybody. Tennessee Titans taking on these Cleveland Brownies. Like I said, man, I do not like this team. It is very bad, and you see how much red is on this thing for me. I don't care. I'm not touching it. I feel bad for a lot of these guys. This is one of the worst teams I've seen in a very long time, and we saw a press report saying that the Titans could actually be on the market for a quarterback in this draft again. Man, oh man, Will Levis, Cam Ward, what are you doing, man? So don't pick quarterbacks. Go sign one or trade for one. I don't know. High-level risk, Cam Ward, not touching him versus the Browns, and Myles Garrett, who's going to come after this poor guy with a bum rush. Low floor in the red for both a Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. I do not like it. Will not trust it at all. Where Chip Ray DK is the only one mid-level risk. PPR floor potentially gets you maybe 5 catches this week, bounce back from last week's, piss poor show. But again, I don't like it versus the Browns defense. This should be a very strong show for the Cleveland Brownies D. Van Jefferson not touching it, high risk. Alec Maynard not touching it, high risk. Chigo Okonkwo, you've been a high risk all season for me. I think we can move on. We're not touching any of these Titans this week. Finish this thing off with the Washington Commanders. The Commies taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Jaden Daniels is back. What are you doing, Washington? I don't understand this at all, whatsoever. Why are you putting this man in harm's way? Your season is done. Mariota's playing decent ball. He's coming off a broken arm. What if this guy rips his knee? Then what? What are you going to do? It'll fire everybody on this coaching staff. Everybody will be, what did you play him for? You're 3-9. What are you doing, Washington? But for fantasy purposes, mid-level risk. I mean, Jaden's boomed in every game that he's played so far this season, 113 points. We'll see. I mean, versus the Minnesota Vikings defense that likes to blitz the quarterback. I pray for this man. I hope he finishes the season, healthy and can regroup for next year. I will never understand some coaches in the NFL. Chris Rodriguez, can you play him? I'm going to probably steer in a different direction than Jaden this week. I do not like it, will not trust it. Chris Rodriguez, volume upside mid-level. I do like the play in deeper leagues, just not enough volume even with somebody like Jaden Daniels back. There is TD upside here as well, but I think we could do better than a Rodriguez. Likewise with Jeremy McNichols, where Debo, man, PPR upside had at least enough points to get us happy last week. I still like the play this week as well. Should utilize him a lot over the middle to keep this pass rush at least a little bit honest. Treylon Burks not touching it, even though he had a beautiful one-handed grab. I've always been a Treylon Burks guy, man. If you guys follow me for a long time, Burks has always been my guy. Just injuries foiled the man. Talent was always there. Just injuries could never stay on the field. Where Scary Terry McLaurin, good upside in the green. I played it again. Too safe on Terry last week. He got 19 points. I apologize for all the y'all that I said play it safe and put him on the bench. That's my bad as well. Hopefully it didn't cost you. We're going to go even if it is recency bias from last week. I'm okay playing Scary Terry this week. Likewise with Zach Ertz, mid-level risk. TD upside does continue. Should be a lot of safety blanket throws with JD coming back this week. But there you have it. That is week number 14, do or die week for fantasy football. Let's get those dubs. Trophy run starts now. Like I said, man, stick around in the off season because I got so much content for y'all. I'll get you ready. You guys are going to be professionals, man, by the time next season comes. I'm telling y'all. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, drop your start-sit questions in the comments. I will definitely get back to all y'all, but we'll see you next time. I am out.